Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
I hope you enjoyed, because here we are for a playoff post-game show following a Lightning victory in Toronto. It's me, the Stash, El Stashio, Schooly, Tommy Boys in the house. I'm live at Drinks on the 9 here in Lutz. What a great playoff watch party we had. Gave away some tickets, gave away some other stuff, and the Lightning dominated overall. Wes McCauley, number 4, showing his ass, but hey, we still prevailed. Thomas Schooley, how are you feeling tonight?
Really good. I was at work most of the night, but I did not stop me from listening to the game while I was at work, watching highlights. I was able to get home for most of the third period, so it was great to stay here and watch, and then also look through the replays on the Lightning app.
Yeah, Scoria Perry doing Scoria Perry things. The school bus line, who everyone thought was too old for the playoffs, they're working. They did their work. And, man, I don't think Toronto was expecting that Lightning team that showed up to start the game. What do you think, Thomas?
No, it's funny because I was looking at a lot of predictions today, and there was a couple where it said the Leafs were going to sweep us.
Right.
And maybe those that watched the Leafs Bolts game here at home to finish off the season the other night thought that going into it, but we did talk about this last week, that playoff Lightning is a whole different, turning up the dial. I've seen that actually a lot, and we used that all last year and the year before, and yeah, I've seen all kinds of Lightning Twitter saying turning the dial up once they reach the playoffs.
Yeah. And you know what, man? We saw it. We saw from the very first drop of the puck, there was a different energy to this team. Coop I honestly thought he was going to go back to the first half of the season, top 6, and having Hagel on that top line and Stamkos, Cirelli, Killer on that second line. But hey, that's why he's the coach and I'm not, because he knew the matchup to have, and they set the tone early on in this game.
Yeah, and actually I thought it really was set beforehand. There was I was looking for what he said, some of the pre-game comments today. I was looking to see if I could find it real quick. But basically he says the players know where they're at. They've been here before. They know what it takes. Doesn't mean that they're going to sweep them. No, but they know it's a 7-game series. And we talked that they needed to steal one in Toronto, and they did.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even know if this was a steal. I think this was a straight owning it. They took it. They came in ready to go, ready to play. They set the tone and did what they do in the playoffs. And, I agree right here, right now. This is how I'd like to start this off, by saying fuck Bunting. What a POS, man. What an absolute POS that guy is. And, I was happy that he's the reason that the Lightning regained control of this game, because of just a terrible play, and then he acts like, oh, I did nothing wrong. And Leafs fans, oh, refs, you suck. No, your guy sucks, and your guy took a cheap shot on my BFF Cernak, and that's what you get.
And I gotta imagine at least a 1-game suspension, possibly 2-game suspension there. I know there's some kind of history with him, but I don't know if he's been suspended. I was trying to do some research on it, but couldn't figure it out. I don't know if they talked about it on any of the broadcasts, but I definitely got to imagine at least a 1-game suspension there.
Yeah. I was sitting here doing double duty, doing the face, doing the production. We gave away a pair of tickets. Congratulations, Scott Dolan. Everyone follows the show. It was a completely random drawing. He won. That guy supported us from day one, so congratulations to him. He'll be at game 3.
Who was it? I'm sorry. Who was it?
Scott Dolan.
Okay.
Yeah. You know him. He's an old friend of mine. And I promise you, it wasn't rigged. It was 100% random. We did a spinning wheel and everything. I meant to go live, but like I said, I was here on my own, hosting and producing and wearing all the hats, especially the amazing retro hat. And you see, I'm in my lucky shirt, by the way. If you guys follow the show, you know this is my lucky playoff shirt, a la Thomas Schooley. And I also think that Isamont hit, as Sarah Beardall says in the comments, I think that will be reviewed as well, because you don't go to a protocol right away if it wasn't a headshot. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very telling thing right away, the fact that he came off the ice and had to go into protocol.
I am looking at the video of when the Lightning came off the ice tonight. Hedman's got nothing on any of his legs or anything, so he looks like that might have been just precautionary for him. I can also, looks like I see Icy-Mont there also. I don't see Chernak in the line, but I do. Hetty is plain as day in shorts and a hoodie, so he looks like it could be just precautionary for him.
Well, that's the best news we could have coming out of this game, right? Aside from Braden motherfucking Point doing his thing and Nikita Kucherov doing his thing.
Corey Perry.
Corey Perry, bro, setting the tone.
Corey Perry has not had a 3-point game at all this season, and then he has it for the first time. Yeah. I pulled up some stats from last year's playoffs. So last year, Corey Perry in 23 games, 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points. Anthony Cirelli last year, 23 games, 3 goals, 5 assists. Point last year, only 9 games. Remember, he got injured. 2 goals, 3 assists. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, who started the scoring tonight, 23 games last season, 2 goals, 1 assist.
That's right.
And then Ross Colton, 23 games, 5 goals, 4 assists. And those all players played big tonight, and they're already setting the tone for a playoff year that they didn't have last year. We missed them last year. So just to think, if they continue this, this is going to be a long time, a long road ahead of us.
I've been saying it all week. I'm strapped in once again for a long playoff run.
I definitely thought the first round, I don't think the Lightning lose the first round. And second round, it just depends on, number one, who they face. Of course, it looks like it's going to be Boston after the first game. But even then, there's going to be factors in there. Is Bergeron going to play? It looks to see like their goalie might have some holes in his game. So it's going to see what kind of footage they watch on that.
Speaking of goalies, there was a lot of betting lines and whatnot about this game. What we should have been betting on was the amount of minutes before the Leafs had to go to their backup goalie. It was 40 minutes. They had to make a change in this game tonight, and I think that's a telltale thing. We talked about it coming in the series. Andrew Tuck's been very vocal about it. We know who our goalie is. There's no doubt that no matter what happens, we're not going to see Elliott in the playoffs, right? Unless like catastrophic failure, and literally, you got to play on words, catastrophic failure, and Vasi, the unimaginable. I'm not even going to say it, just the unimaginable.
It would have to be an injury. I told you, I was given some info that last year when Colorado was beating us real bad, that the Lightning's intention were to pull Vasi during that game and let Moose finish up that game. And they told him between the second and third period, hey, we're going to pull you. And he told them, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Plain and simple, he told them, fuck off.
In his best English.
When they went back to the ice, he went straight to the net. So it would have to be a serious injury for Vasi not to play.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Wall, don't be surprised. Number one, this has got to get in Samsonov's head. I don't know if they're gonna. I would say you start him game 2 because that is your starter. You have to start him game 2, but maybe a short leash. Yep. But it reminds me of the Florida Panthers where it was Knight and Bobrovsky. And I think if we rattle him again and they end up putting Wall in, game 3 goes to Wall, and then I think you're in Samsonov's head. You end
You're
up
in the
beating,
whole Leafs team head.
right?
I said it to begin with. The worst case scenario for the Leafs team and Leafs Nation was to lose this game.
Mhm.
And not only did they lose it, they lost it big. If it wasn't for the referees calling a couple of, I see in the comments Wes McCauley, of all people, Roscoe, saying that McCauley actually refed a great game. I disagree. That the call on Cernak was garbage. The following call after that, both of those calls, I think, were very ticky-tacky for the playoffs. And the fact that those were where they scored their goals and got momentum, I thought was very telling that they needed a somewhat questionable call to get them back into this game. And they still didn't get back because they went and didn't play disciplined hockey. And I think all the penalties that they incurred were pretty much legitimate. And so that's what's going to be a problem right now for them. It's already, we're in the Leafs' head, right? That team has to already be questioning themselves. This isn't the team that they just played a week ago here in Tampa. This is not the same team. This is not the team they saw the last 2 months of the regular season. This is not the same team. This is the team they saw in the playoffs last year. And I got to say, you talk about the role players. What I think the biggest key is health. This is overall a very healthy team. They rested themselves mentally and physically as needed when they knew that, hey, we're basically can't fall out of the third spot and we can't really get to that second spot. So let's just do what we have to do to maintain our body and our mentality so that when the hockey that means something comes around, we could play meaningful hockey. And I think we saw it tonight. Now, I'm not going to say that this is a sweep or anything else like that. Toronto is a good team. Toronto is a different team than we played last year. But the pressure was already on them. The Lightning were already playing with house money, as I've said for a couple of weeks, for the first time in maybe a decade. And they came in and they took the advantage right away. And they're back in the heads of not only the team, but the franchise and the fans as well.
And so I wanted to go on Toronto's Twitter, and number one, it took no time for Bolts Nation to attack their Twitter. Listen, guys, it's only one game. Let's not act like we've won the series already. But they're already ready to trade Martner. They're already putting pictures of Matthews in the Coyotes uniform.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. They're blaming Wes McCauley also, saying he had a shitty thing. Hopefully he'll never do a thing. A good one. I see Michael Bunton woke up feeling dangerous. 8 minutes and 32 seconds time on the ice. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, 1 flop, 1 hit to the head, 1 incoming suspension, and 14 times whining to the refs.
There you
go. So their Twitter is we don't need Lightning Nation. You guys don't need to put anything on there. They're beating themselves already.
That's Laughs Nation.
Yeah.
That's how I say the Toronto Maple the laughs, because I just laugh at their fan base. They are so fragile. They are so weak mentally. They are just waiting for their team to collapse.
This is how bad that they went back. Remember in 1972, Team Canada lost Game 1 to the USSR 7-3 and came back to win this series. This is where they're going back to find stats to try to help them along.
And hey, this is a great comment from Chris Longtime, always supporting our show. Shout out, Chris. Challenging that goal for Perry was insane. Mm-hmm. That was incredibly stupid. And all it did was give us an extra advantage after that. And to me, I think that was the really the turning point in the game, is whenever they gave us that advantage, you know. So, and hey, once again, real quick, I do want to give a shout out here to Drinks at 9, MDP 2.0 Liquors up here in Lutz. They were amazing hosts for this watch party. I know a lot of people were probably worried that we were gonna lose, so maybe you didn't come out, and no one wants to watch a game with everyone when we're gonna lose. But hey, we won, and the advantage is in our place. And we'll be here on Thursday, same time, same channel. Well, maybe a half hour earlier because of the puck drop, but we'll be here for every away game. I'll be here hosting a watch party doing the show live from here. So if you weren't able to get here tonight, get here on Thursday, get here on Monday or next Wednesday, which is the next away game. I think this is going to go more than 4. So we'll be here for game 5. Incredible hosts. We had a great spread of food, great people here. The energy was insane. Multiple people here that I knew. Actually, I didn't expect to be here, but I knew from being up in Nashville for the Stadium Series game last year. It was a great vibe. We had people outside, inside. So, hey, be here. This is the place to be. And we'll be giving away more stuff. That's what we do. So, that being said, what are you looking for game 2, Thomas?
More of the same. It's going to be interesting. We should know probably an update. I'm looking at Coop's press conference right now and checking to see if anything comes out of this. But wait to see what's going to go on with the 3 players. Be interested if Bogo or Fleury has to play next game, whether it's for Chernak or Hetty or both of them. If we have to call up someone from Syracuse for Isimon or not, if they decide.
Jeannot could be good to go as well. Who knows?
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of factors, but I think you got to go out to that fast start again. I mean, Belly scoring in the first 2 minutes kind of set the tone. Yeah. And another interesting stat that I heard was there was not an even strength goal. The Bolts scored the first 2, then there wasn't any more even strength goals until the 3rd period. Yeah. Everything else, power play is something we struggled with a little bit during the season. I'm glad to see it's clicking during the
push on the road.
Yeah. That 5-on-3 saying, we had that 5-on-3 tonight. So it's something you have to make sure you score on, especially in the playoffs. That's something you need to take advantage of. And then it's going to be interesting. Got to get that PK a little bit better. Our PK was always dangerous before. It's also going to be if Jeannot is good to go. Like Matthew Orozco just said, you saw him on the ice in practice yesterday, which means he's with the team, which is a good sign. Coops came out and said it went from week to week, now to day, and he would only say that he was out for game 1. So does he come back in for game 2 if Isimont can't play?
I would say.
I personally would wait until game 3. Even if he's progressing that fast, I wouldn't put him in game 2, knowing that right now they are. If we get up ahead, it could go into another physical game. And you might have someone like Bunton suspended. We saw that they did call up Wade Simmons. So, they wanted to be a little bit rough going into this game.
Yeah, well, how well did that work out for them?
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I saw a lot of articles from Laughs Nation was, are they going to play their game or are they going to try and match what the Lightning were going to do? And I honestly think that they didn't really play their game tonight. They were more worried about trying to set a tone physically with the Lightning and not really play their game, which is play their best game. So, and now the ball's in their court. Like, how much are they going to respond and what's their knee-jerk reaction going to be? Are they going to be able to come back and try and play their game again? Or do they feel like they're behind the 8 ball? And do they feel like, hey, we have to do more physically to try and put this team off their game? Because I don't believe in coincidences, really, but I do think it's very ironic that the Lightning's highest goals given up against all season was 7, and then they came in and put up a 7 spot in the first game in the playoffs.
And we've only scored 6. We've only scored 6 all season. We hadn't scored 7, so this is the first time we had scored 7.
Exactly.
And we had Greg Wolf on our last regular season show, and Wolf said, there was 2 teams that really had a lot of pressure on them. One was Boston, the other one was the Leafs. They go down 0-2, and it's going to be hard. I think they wanted to be physical. I think they maybe was trying to take a picture out of the Panthers book from a couple of years ago that really looked like it was going to turn it around and that Tampa could get eliminated in that round. But in the end, Tampa ended up winning. So
Yep.
you're gonna have to do what they did during the regular season, and if that's not going to beat this team, then you're screwed.
Well, and again, you can try to do what you did in the regular season, but this isn't the regular season Lightning.
Right.
And that's what so many people just fail to understand about the mantra and the mentality of this team. I think they figured it out. They figured out the secret to the NHL season, and that is to do just enough to maintain a solid footing and standing to make the playoffs. You don't have to be a wild card team and play the number 1 or number 2, but if you get that number 3 or number 2 seed in your own division, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. It couldn't matter any less compared to the second season. And that's why they've called it the second season for longer than I've been watching this sport, which is a pretty long time. So we're seeing the product of a veteran team understanding the way to play hockey when it matters most. And the fact that so many people out there just buried the Lightning because of their regular, and I'm going to call some of the fans out, are not just the national people, but our own fans in our own community forgot what we've seen the last 2 and 3 years about this team, is that the regular season no longer matters to this team. The only thing that matters is the second season. And this is the game I expected from the Lightning. I 100% expected this game tonight from the Lightning.
I was looking at some of the game-ending stats, and it's interesting. Shots on goal, 34. Lightning, 31. Toronto. Face-off percentage went to Toronto with 55.6. Lightning only had 44. Bellemare was the best face-off percentage guy by far on our team. Power play, we were 4 for 8. They were 2 for 4, so we were both 50%. Penalty minutes, we only had 8, which I think everybody agreed that was something we needed to work on. Going into the playoffs was stay out of the box. Toronto had 15 hits. Toronto had 42. We had 39 blocks. Tampa had 20. Toronto had 17 giveaways. Lightning with 9. Toronto with 11. And we both had 7 takeaways. So it was pretty evenly matched this whole game. And if that's how it is, evenly matched, and the score is 7-3, then that's not good for Toronto.
How do you feel? How do you feel if you're the laughs going into the locker room after this game?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
If you seeing these stats and knowing that the game was 7-3 and it was an even, almost down the board on everything, you've got to try to figure out something and just shoot.
After game 1, you're already scrambling.
You
right?
better have 50 games, 50 shots on Vasi next game.
Yeah. And you better hope that Braden motherfucking Point isn't doing Braden motherfucking Point things. You better hope that Nikita Kucherov isn't doing Kucherov things, because we saw all of it up and down. You pointed out the depth players, but then we saw Point and Kucherov both have, their marquee type of goals. And listen, we saw Kucherov shoot a lot more on the power play than we did in the regular season, which again, the guy I think was playing the cards close to his vest. And that pass to Braden Point was just phenomenal. What a phenomenal play to make that power play goal, to take the momentum back after they had their 2, Yeah,
you got to think this is probably Perry's last run. If anything, maybe he signs one more year deal to finish with Maroon next year. Maybe a team friendly 1-year deal so that him and Maroon go out together. But if not, this will be his last year. And what the motto is of him these last 5 years, the curse, or 4 years, the curse of Corey Perry. So I think he wants his name on that cup a second time, and he wants those to be off that.
That's a really good point, dude. That's a really good point, because I was actually thinking about Killorn might be his last ride with this team, right? And what he might be doing. But I think it's even more likely that he comes back versus Perry, this could be Perry's last hurrah. And that's a very, very good point, Thomas, because I didn't even think about that. But man, what if this is Perry's last chance? This team is and if he comes out in the locker room and says that, hey boys, it's been an honor being here the last year with you, 2 years with you guys, whatever. This is my last hurrah. Let's go win one for the Gipper. Bro, right? Like, I mean, who else is going to play harder for than a guy like the fucking worm? Corey
because
Perry,
all accounts, that's what Moose did. Yeah, it's not been announced officially,
right?
But from everything, every little hint given, the last night Amalie seemed to be his last hurrah. And so, apparently they're not going to announce these things. Maybe they will at the end of the playoffs about Moose, which kind of sucks because it would have been really nice getting a good, have a shutout.
Real ovation.
Right.
Real send off. But that also begs the question, if we have another one of these 7-2 or 7-3 games, maybe Moose does come in. Maybe Vasi does give him a chance one more time.
Maybe in Stanley Cup finals. Maybe in the Stanley Cup final, where it's a cup winning game and you're up pretty high, you let him come in and play that. I can't see one of the first 2 rounds, just some kind of series ending game where the decision's already made.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. But other than that, unless he's injured.
Especially if it's on home ice.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a little glory run, like the last 3 or 4 minutes of a game at home when we're up by 3 or 4 goals or something like that.
Yeah, it was nice. You kind of during the game were putting 2 and 2 together. Why was Moose starting that game? Why was his son on the ice? What and everything else, and then it was like, I think this is his last game. And you can start hearing some people say it around Amalie, and like, is this his last? Is he? And then you started hearing on TV, you started hearing on the radio that they had been pre-warned that this was his last game. Which kudos to Coop for allowing him to start that last game, because I did not think he was going to be in that. I thought for sure it was going to be Vasi in there.
Yeah, for sure. Especially coming off that Toronto game where I just didn't think they had the right mentality. But again, I just don't want to ever say this about a professional sports team, but how much of that was a bit of a mental game? All the starters were on the ice and they played hard. I was at that game against Toronto. It's not like they didn't go out and try to win, but at the same time, how much of that was a little bit of, as Orozco is saying here in the chat, were the Bolts playing possum? I do believe a little bit of the last month or so of the season was them just playing it safe and not
Coop said
showing their cards.
Coop wasn't happy about it, but Coop said,
no.
Once they clinched, that the players thought the season ended, and it did. And we know that it wasn't like said on purpose, because they had the player only meeting, they had the player only practice, so it obviously wasn't hey, let's just chill
mentality. Right.
But I think they knew they were in there was no reason to put that extra in, and Coop, there is this comment here by Carlene saying that the announcers didn't even pick. Remember, you say Toronto in 6. Remember, this is only one game. Toronto still could win in 6. Do I think they will after tonight's game? No. But they still can. So let the commentators pick that. Once we win 3, then there's no way they can win in 6, and then we can bash those reporters.
Talk about it.
Right.
But again, it's also, I don't mind it. Like I said, we're playing with house money for the first time in almost a decade. This team has now almost have a chip on their shoulder. The worst thing you want is a team that's been to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row with 2 Stanley Cup championships to show for it, to have a chip on their shoulder with the same core there, the same men, same coaching, same big cat in the net. This is a team you don't want to give a reason to play even harder than they already do in the playoffs. And they've done it. They've all done it. They've all done it. If you look across all the networks, oh, this is the year the Leafs are going to break the curse. This is the year. Look at the Lightning. They're less than they used to be. This isn't the same Lightning team. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you know what? It's not only is it the same Lightning team, it's a healthy Lightning team. Even in spite, like the only thing I'm worried about is Hedman. If Isama is out, then that's a role player. Cernak is definitely a concern, especially on the PK, and he's been one of the best guys on the blue line, keeping the puck in. That's always what he does. He's really good at that. But still, I do think that Fleury has shown his value. And once again, can we talk about Perbix and Radish?
Perbix his first playoff point today.
Yeah, dude. And Radish played a great game as well.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about the blue line that everyone was so worried about. And here we go. Orozco's right away. Boom, Bogo. We've got Bogo in the wings. And does he still have the skates that he used to have? Not 100%, but for a game or two, if he needs to step in, guarantee he can do the job he needs to do. So
I want to read a text I got from Sonia Bryson, Kirksey tonight.
Sonia.
She texted me today during the game. I won't show her outfit that she wore because she'll kill me. But she said, "Thank you, Lord, for giving us a third period that doesn't require our hearts to race, jumping up, throwing out our backs, or screaming so loud we lose our voices. We are grateful. Amen." And
I was jumping up and screaming. I wish I had. I thought I was gonna lose my voice even as much as we won.
I told her I was holding my breath that no other players would be injured for that third period, not because of the score. And she's like, "Oh, I know." So it's fun on a game 7-3 like this when you're not at the edge of your seat worried about this, and it's great getting little text messages from other fans, from people watching the game. And a lot of people talk about how popular an ambassador Sonia is, but in reality she's just a fan like the rest of us. And so it was cute seeing her. Literally, she was in Lightning gear, but it was home Lightning gear. It was like some pajamas and stuff. So so it's nice seeing her get ready for these playoffs. And of course, she'll be singing for games 3 and 4 at home.
That's right. And hey, I know we have fans from all the groups and all the walks of life, but just a quick shout out. I will be cooking for the tailgate for 6 of Fire on Saturday. It's going to be a taco bar. We could talk about the Bolts winning the first home game. And I'll be down there. Saturday. I'll be down there Monday for both games. But we'll be right back here at the Drinks on 9 on Thursday for the watch party. We'll have more stuff to give away. It was a great time, a great vibe. Man, I can't talk about it. And if you're a bourbon fan like me, man, I wish you could see this wall of bourbon. Like most liquor store or most bars have like all the different types of liquor and all that. No, this is just all bourbon. They have great tequilas and everything else too, but this is a great vibe. So if you're looking for a place to watch the game on Thursday, once again, I'm going to give it a shout because they've been quite hospitable. And Monkey Cult Coffee, Matt, he was here, showing up, showing out. Don't forget, Monkey Cult. I don't know what's. Damn, I always forget the promo. I always forget whatever the promo is. Where is it at? The banners.
It's usually We the Thunder.
We the Thunder 10. There it is. That's it. Don't forget. Go to Monkey Cult Coffee. We the Thunder 10. Get your rum case. Get your bourbon, or get your coffee. The new flavors coming out soon. I know you guys are all into this. We had a late start, 7:30 puck drop. We're getting ready to wrap it up here at the spot. But I mean, less is more right now, right? We're so hyped. Like we could just sit here and keep talking and talking. But man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm ready to just roll it into game 2.
And also anybody that's up early on Thursday morning, I got lucky to do
Set your
a
alarm.
interview with Sean Daly from ABC Action News. He's actually supposed to be mentioned in the podcast on that, along with Thunderbolt on it. And we filmed that yesterday at Emily Arena. It's supposed to play at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 p.m., and 6 p.m. on Thursday.
There you go.
The one I know for sure is 4:30 or 5 a.m. He says that he believes it's going to play all day, leading up to Game 2. So tune into ABC Action News. I did have to submit some pictures. So I submitted lots of pictures of all different people. What he's going to use, I do not know. But I probably sent him about 30 pictures. So we'll see what gets used. There was a lot of discussion about a lot of things. So I don't know exactly what's going to be in this little newscast.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is, man. That, they do 10 or 12 or 15 minutes and they use like 45 seconds of
Right.
it. So,
but I mean, and I was super nervous. Shout out to Ginger if she's watching. I was super nervous because I am not one of these people that like to be interviewed. Back in the day, I used to make sure I cussed on it so they wouldn't use me. And he really was cool. He was really talked like it was just friends. So literally, there was
Thunderbolt right after that too. So
there was so much different talking involved in this that I don't know what he's going to use. He is going to mention the fundraiser that we did do for Nick Paul that is still going on, that anybody that wants to donate that to that, we are going to keep that going actually during the playoffs. We are $2,500, $2,575, 20 for that, and there's going to be different things that we're going to raffle off tomorrow. We are actually going to do, for those that did donate, the Vassy Hockey Fights Cancer puck. Nice. We'll raffle that off tomorrow.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Like, again, I said on that post, and my comment is you do so much for this community and for charity. Not only are you inspiring, you also you make other people want to give too. And that's something that I really appreciate in the last few years of us getting to know each other and do this together, is that I really appreciate what you do for this community, for the charities, and that you really are a very selfless person, and you really are about the community and giving back as much as you can. And that's what's always attracted me to doing things with you, because that's what I'm for. I really am about doing what we can for this community and giving back as much as we can.
Well, we've talked outside of the group different ways to promote the show and maybe get sponsors and monetize. And I'm never about that. And same thing with the group. I've never wanted to be the face. Matter of fact, a couple of years I said I was going to step back and let the other admins. But then I see questions from fans, and I see different ways that fans can interact with this team, and I'm like, oh, I got to post this. You can't. So that didn't last long, and it's the whole reason. It's the whole reason I started the group and everything else. So, it was nice that ABC Action News reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to do it. And it took some convincing, but because they wanted to mention Paul's charity, that is why I do it. There would be no other reason for me to self-promote anything that we do unless it's for charity. And that's hopefully what this piece is going to be on, about us donating over $15,000 now back in the community since 2017 when I started that group.
Yeah, man. And I agree with you, man. We have tried, and I think some people got in our ear, and well worth it, because we do put in a lot of time and effort and money into what we do. And I don't feel like we are trying to be greedy, like just trying to get a little bit back what we put into it. But it's not about that for me. It's not about making money or getting anything out of it. I sometimes I lose myself in the moment, and and I appreciate what I get back from it. But it's all about the community sitting here with you and the people in the chat and being part of it, and then figuring out ways that we can give back. And that's one thing I'm proud about being part with Monkey Cult Coffee, because Matt has a heart for the same thing. You know, it's not about him, it's about the community, and it's about giving back, and that really matters a lot.
Yeah, for you guys that don't know, money from each one of those bags of Monkey Cult goes back to Pediatric Cancer Foundation. So, you know, this is one of the reasons that we push Monkey Cult, and why we did the Christmas party that raised $1,000 for that. It isn't because Monkey Cult pays us this money, because if so, I would not be doing this from my house, and he would not have a flag behind him. We'd have some nice studio. We'd be coming from the Monkey Cult Studios if that was the case. It's that his coffee does sell back. So,
it helps that it's delicious, but it also does a lot for the community and for a charity that we're all passionate about.
But if you look at the people that are commenting on here, like 95% of these people I would have never met if I didn't have Thunderbolts, if I wasn't on We the Thunder. There wouldn't be no connection. And that's what I was telling him yesterday in this interview, that, you know, I've met so many great people, and it's the Lightning community is more of a family than it is anything else.
Yeah. And I mean, I never would have gone to Nashville blessed. Like, I would have wanted to, but I wouldn't have, honestly, if it wasn't for.
It's funny because yesterday when I was at Emily doing the interview, I was looking for bushes that I'll be doing because game 3 and 4 I will be at the arena for.
And I will say we're gonna have to get real creative, because we're both gonna be there, and I don't really know. In the past, usually one of us has at least been at home.
We've had somewhere we've all been. Remember, we had to do my laptop and then you guys on your phone.
Post-game shows. I think I'm losing my feed. My internet's starting to slow down. I'm on a hotspot here. But that being said, man, they're just waiting for me to walk out. I closed this bar down. We had a great turnout. Again, a great turnout for the show tonight. Thanks you for all of you for tuning in, sticking with us. We're just getting started. Hopefully you can hear the fun in the background. This is the energy we had all night. Schoolie, you know, good luck on your new job, but damn right you better start writing your schedule for the next round. I'm not doing this alone going into the next round. You better bring your ass for these away games. That being said, man, let's go ahead and wrap it up. 45
you want me to hit the outro for you?
Win. You know, I always usually forget it. Hey man, I love you, brother. Everyone in the chats that's been here, thank you so much. One more time, shout out to Monkey Cult Coffee. Shout out to Drinks at 9. Shout out to MDP Liquors 2.0 up here in Lutz. It's still maybe right at the end of Van Dyke, right by the hospital. It's easy to find. You'll be here if you want to. If not, you're going to be square. That being said, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder. Hit that outro, Schoolie. I think you missed it. Well, for some reason it's not working, so